Well done, Bill. On to our next inductee, and it goes to Ivan Jannisen. Ivan was a founding member of Twin City, as well as having a large part in the forming of AWFA, going on to coach and referee his time in the association. In 1973, there was a meeting at the Jannisen residence with John Knox, Ben Brunick, Ivan and John went on to the first meeting at the Boomerang Hotel, as we just heard a few moments ago. Ivan was involved in getting the association up and running with the first games in 1973. His passion for sport was the driving force behind the whole association. He was the first president of Twin City Wanderers in 1973, starting the club with a small group of others. The club went on to win the October Cup in the first year of AWFA. He coached many sides during his time with Twin City, ranging from juniors through the reserves and seniors. His under-16s team won the Cup 4 years in a row from 1973 to 76. He then went on to coach the seniors and reserves from there. He started refereeing in 1980, reaching level 2. He refereed for over 20 years. After retiring from that, he became part of the AWFA committee for 5 years. He continued to be a passionate supporter of both Twin City and the association right up until his passing this year. He's a life member of Twin City Wanderers as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Ivan's award will be accepted tonight by his grandson, David. Son Philip, I was close.
Yeah, I'm Philip, I'm the son. Yeah, unfortunately, thinking of this so long. Yeah, so Dad passed away in January, and so it's a huge, huge honour to be accepting this award on his behalf, and on behalf of the family, a huge thank you, first to the Twin City Wanderers for nominating Dad, and to AWFA for selecting Dad as one of the inaugural members of the Hall of Fame. Thank you both. I guess Dad was one of the, also one that was involved at the very early start of AWFA, and to paraphrase a line from the great Martin Luther King, he also had a dream. And who would have thought, and as I mentioned already, who would have thought that some 50 years later that here we would be today with the magnificent participation across all Wodonga. The numbers are enormous, and without the volunteers that are there every week, none of this is possible. And it's just a tremendous thing to see that after 50 years it's still going as strong as ever, and it should obviously will continue on for many, many years to come. Dad was the first president of Twin City Wanderers. Back in those days it was Twin City Wanderers Soccer Club, but as it turned out they got smart and turned it into football. And along with a small group of members on that very first meeting, and it wouldn't have got off the ground without their passion and their drive to start a club. And I'd like to acknowledge it'd be countless the numbers of people that have been involved in Twin City Wanderers, and the same would apply to all the clubs right across the board, to referees, executives of the association, to everybody. It just doesn't work without the numbers of people that turn up every week to be involved. So Dad, yeah, he was the first president of Twin City, but it didn't mean he just sat back and looked good. He was hands-on. He was first to arrive and last to leave, and I think that probably still is the case today with most clubs. We were dragged along, of course, kicking and screaming. But if that wasn't enough, he thought, well, I'll get into coaching. So he started with juniors. I was part of his under-16 team for that 4 years. And so that was a real treat. And then moved on to coaching seniors. He coached seniors, Twin City seniors, coached a number of junior teams. He coached my son, and then he did coach for a couple of years at what was the old Wodonga City senior team. They've now transformed into Wodonga Heart. So he was there for a couple of years, and he just sort of loved the game so much, and it was in his blood. And of course, being a Dutchman, they produce the best soccer players in the world and the best soccer people, football people. It was just in his blood. He was just so passionate about the game, and it didn't seem to matter wherever there was a hole. He sort of thought, I can step in there and I can help out. So after a while, he thought, well, I'll take up refereeing. There was a need, so he took up the refereeing. And in my humble opinion, I think he became one of the premier referees in the Albury Wodonga Association. That's just my humble opinion. And then so he did that for the better part of 20 years, as it says, and then of course, well, what will I do after that? So he then got involved in the disciplinary board and got on the other side of the whistle, so to speak. And with his knowledge of the game, his understanding of players and how it all works, I think he became a very important part of the tribunal system as well. And so in the end, with Dad's, his love for the game, wherever he could find a spot to fill in, wherever it was needed, he would just put his hand up to help out. As the years went on, all that sort of stepped aside. He went back to his one real love, and that was Twin City. He would sit on the sideline with Mum and sort of barrack for his team. And it's a terrific thing now to know that. Unfortunately, Dad can not here with us tonight, but his now has grandchildren and great-grandchildren who are now involved in Twin City Wanderers Football Club. So it does sort of carry on, which is a great thing to see. There is one other, and not a lot of you may know this, but way back in 1974, I believe it was, and we spoke a little bit about the women's side of football in Albury Wodonga. There was a friendly game was organised, and it was the first ladies' game in Albury Wodonga. It was played at Martin Park in 1974. It was played between Melrose Park and Twin City Wanderers. As it turned out, Twin City Wanderers happened to win that game 1-0, and it was the first, we'll call it official, unofficial, ladies' game in the area. So that was also something that Dad drove and thought, well, that was a good idea. And here we are today. We talk about the Angela Leonottas and the Amy Chaplins and how wonderful they've been. It all starts somewhere. I guess I don't really have much more to say. I'll just finish up, just first of all to congratulate all the other inductees at this stage and to all the other people who are obviously going to follow. Once again, a big thank you to Twin City Wanderers, to Executive of AWFA for this honour, and to Dad. Dad would, quite honestly, be a little bit embarrassed because he was not the sort of person who would think, oh, well, after 50 years, somebody might tap me on the shoulder and give me an award. He just was always willing to help out and do whatever he could. So there's a little piece of this certainly belongs to everybody involved in Twin City Wanderers Football Club and to all the volunteers and all of those that put their hand up to help out. Like I said, whether it's at club level or executive or whatever it is, I take my hat off to you and thank you all very much, because it just does not happen without you. So Same again. Everybody have a great evening, and congratulations to all the others.
Thanks, Philip.